to our Morning Throners podcast.
I'm Nelson.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Glow.
I'm Kyle.
And we're the fucking Morning Throners. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite Song of Ice and Fire podcast. We're the Morning Throners. We got Arya 4 on deck.
Arya 5.
A long one. A lot of pages for not a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's good. I think this is going to be a shorter podcast than expected per page count. If you made a graph of like page count and length of podcast, this would be an outlier.
Yeah, it's a lot of
It
sneaking
should be
around
a
and
short one.
not really happening. Like, she's not talking to anybody.
She's in the top of a tree for like 10 pages doing nothing.
Yeah, just
if
look
we
at
can
the
stay
fucking-
laser focused, we should be able
Oh
to
yeah,
stay
we're
laser
known for
focused.
our hyper vigilance on the point.
Yeah.
For sure.
No. Well, when she is in the tree, she's jumping around a lot, so we're not going to stay focused. But let's get into it.
All right, so she's up in a tree. She's looking around across the God's Eye. And I think she's just reflecting on what's been happening the past couple of days a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit there.
Yeah. It starts off with her, like, the immediate talk of this town that they end up going to. And
She
all the
sees
shit
a little
happens in
smoke
there.
coming out of chimneys. There's slated
counting
roofs.
roofs and shit,
She
yeah.
hears a horse whinny.
Maybe a wagon. Or she does see the wagon. Maybe
Yeah, wagon,
a horse.
a chimney with smoke in it. Yeah, there's definite sign that there's definitely people there.
No
whatever
sigil,
it is.
no colors, no
That
nothing.
she can
It's just
tell,
so far,
from this
yeah.
distance. Yeah.
The first thing I really think she thinks of is them going back. Do they go back?
There's like the one part where she's talking about how the Lannisters burned everything. She said like after they left, they found one place and it was deserted, and then basically everything else that they found was completely burned. And like Gendry says, like they would even want to burn the lake if they could.
And every other little spot that they've kind of walked up on has been burned, and people have been
Exactly,
eaten and whatnot. So
Yeah, so everything's suffered the fate basically of the town, whatever town they were at last chapter, everything around, which it makes sense, right? Because we know that was Amory Lorch. We know at the end of this chapter, this is Gregor, and we know that Tywin commanded them to basically do
I was
exactly
gonna say
this.
that's also a good sign that finding an intact village is probably so. Like I thought it was like one house at first, and then it's like you kind of like 26 houses or some shit like that. Like
Yeah, they might have been like using this as like their base of operations, like camping here every night, then like riding 2 days to the north
When
and
they've
killing
burned it
everybody,
down,
coming back and
if they
camping.
left.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
Maybe
it's
that's
their
like why
base.
this one isn't burned. Yeah. Then they're gonna burn it when they leave in like a week or whatever. But yeah, they're chilling here for now, gonna burn everything around it and then burn this before they
Literally
leave.
what I'm saying though is that the fact that this is untouched in this middle of this fire scorched earth, and like they're like, oh, let's go see what it is. Like,
why didn't
gotcha.
they get burnt?
Yeah, yeah.
But before they move on, all right, Arya couldn't leave without seeing Yoren, so they walk back to the holdfast where they were. They see that Yoren is split with an axe right down his face,
Skull's fucked up. Yep.
but
They can only recognize him by his
couldn't miss
gnarly
that beard.
There's a bunch of dead people around him, but I think I told this to Glow and Jeff in the spoiler section last time. We did very end of the last Arya chapter. What like happened with Arya, Kyle?
they escaped out of the tunnel.
Right before that,
They released the
immediately
prisoners.
before that. How?
The axe.
Arya gave, I think it was Rorg, an axe,
Yep.
right? And then although there's a bunch of Lannisters around Yoren, which makes you think like, oh, it's probably Lannister, but she does like say there was an axe blow that like split his face open, and Rorg probably didn't like Yoren. He did keep him in a cage. Like,
There's no way it was.
it's just a theory that people think that I don't think that's never talked about again. It's
He
just
got
like
an
a cool
axe.
thing to think about.
He's got an axe face. Definitely can't confirm.
Definitely didn't like
I
the
don't
guy.
think
And yeah,
Lannisters are carrying axes. Let's just say that.
I'm just saying, just think about what happens on Rorik's point of view immediately after Arya goes through that tunnel. He gets those guys out, runs out of the barn, and he's going to see a lot of people. If he crosses paths with Yoren, is he going to hit him in the face with an axe? Probably if he gets a chance. He fucking doesn't like that guy at all. He
And he's
literally
a
kept him
fucking
locked in a cage.
psychopath.
I'm not seeing that.
I'm not
I mean,
seeing it.
Go for it.
Again,
I mean,
it's one,
I
no,
guess
again, it's one of those things that doesn't
plausible, but
ever
I just
come
think
up
it's
again.
highly
It's
unlikely. Like,
one of those
why-
things that thought it might have been. People think it's a cool thing that might have happened.
Okay. I mean, so much shit was going on. Why would that be anything in your mind? Like, I'm going to go fuck the guy up.
Just
that
because it says
put me in
axe,
there.
right?
Yeah, I know. But
That's
I mean,
the only
like,
thing about this, yeah.
there's people trying to kill him all over the place. You're not going to find the one guy that's on your
Yeah,
side
I'm not
and
saying
kill
he hunted
him.
him down. I'm just saying if they happen to cross paths, I don't
Okay.
think Rorg would have hesitated type thing. So
Alright.
that's a possibility.
It's a good point. It's a good,
Just a
good thing to think about.
interesting thing
for
to
sure.
think about.
So Arya's a little bit upset because obviously Yoren was going to take her home, but they then Gendry remembered that there's 3 people hiding out in the Lord's Tower house.
So you might have said this. I might have missed it. Arya does demand that, like, she's like, there's not enough time to bury everybody, but we are going to bury Yoren.
Yeah.
Even though she starts talking about like how she has mixed feelings, right? She says like she doesn't. She starts thinking like he like in her monologue, like he promised me he was going to take me to Winterfell, like. She didn't know
If she
whether
wanted
to
to
do
cry
something or
or
kick him. She wanted to cry. She didn't know whether to cry or kick him. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's just, she's angry that he can't take her back. She's not actually angry at him.
Yeah.
You can't blame him. He's dead.
Yeah. I think I spoiled this a little bit in the last Arya chapter. I'm 100% sure I did because I had to cut it out when I edited it. Because I know if I do spoil something or somebody spoils something, I normally try to edit around it if I can in the non-spoiler so that anybody who's listening. But yeah, I said that Yoren dies. Kyle later mentioned, like, I think one of you guys like said he gets captured, but implies he died. I flat out said it, but I was able to edit around it because you were ambiguous about it later on. But yeah, he dies here, and like it goes along with a lot of, I think I said it in the last one again, like the hero's journey, where you get like somebody really early in a story, normally a young character gets like a old wise figure that kind of guides them.
We talked about this with Syrio.
Exactly, Syrio and Yoren here. But I think this chapter in general has like a whole like abandonment connection, right? You have the Yoren thing right here at the beginning, and then like we're going to get into with these guys they find in the tower, you have another abandonment thing. Then when they go to when Gendry and Arya are walking, Gendry brings up abandoning Lami and Happai. Once Gendry gets captured and Arya goes back, they want to abandon Gendry. Everyone just wants to abandon everybody, and Arya is the only person that's like kind of against that. So I think
Nelson
that's a
spotting themes, man.
Theme in this chapter.
That is
D&D. What did D&D say? Themes are for fucking 8th grade
we
reading
kind of
projects?
forgot about.
Well, you read it at 4th grade level, so it's actually pretty impressive.
That was like one of the things that all like the book fans got really pissed at the showrunners for, because they literally said that in an interview. Like people are like, what was the like what people were like talking about, like, oh, I got this theme from this scene or whatever. And they're like, yeah, we don't really think about themes. We think themes are for like middle school book reports. And people were like, are you fucking kidding me? Like. And like,
I mean, writing's definitely a lot about themes. I'm not great at picking them up.
No,
me either. I think it's one of the things this podcast probably lacks, but it's whatever. I'm more of like a logical reader.
That was pretty good pickup there, Nelson. I'm proud of you for that.
So Gendry thinks of these people that were in the tower house, which couldn't be reached because the only way was by ladder, and they were able to pull it up and in. And they tried to burn it down, but just couldn't do it.
Because it was stone, and they didn't have the patience to starve them out, so they just
fuck it. Yeah.
Fuck these 3 people.
So they find him. One of them's fucked up, though. Also, who remembers names? Quick trivia.
Kurz.
Kurtz.
Tauber is the third one.
Tauber.
Yep. So they get him. I think Kurz. Again, we've seen all 3 of these guys a couple times, I think. Like one of them, Wath was the one that they explored the town with last time. But like Kurz, Arya saw catching fish before, and I think she even tries to do it a little bit later. Like
she talks about how he was the hunter.
He was the poacher, right? So he like hunted for them. And like I think when like the Gold Cloaks showed up, all these guys were like quick to grab arms and defend Gendry, right? Like when all that shit went down.
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of funny to see how, if you go back and read those chapters, those guys are like, as soon as they demand stuff, one of these guys is like, I think the first guy to grab a sword out of anybody there. And like, they seem loyal and they seem like decent dudes. And then here they're abandoning a bunch of boys who literally die by themselves, right? It shows what it takes to survive. Before there was a pack of people, and now they don't have that. So you got to do anything you can to survive.
Well, yeah, and I mean they've seen what happens when you get caught.
Right. They need to be stealthy and move around now and be quiet. And a little baby girl weasel and a kid with a shit leg, and it's just 100% not happening.
I mean, Weasel's like what, 3 years old?
Happai, who can't fucking speak in a low tone.
Do nothing. Yeah, absolutely useless.
They're way better alone. I give them that. Like I said, was it the right thing? No, but was it the smart thing? Probably.
Yep.
Abandon them.
But like when they first got him out of the tower house, it did give Arya a little hope. I think she even thinks like, nice, we still have a chance because it's not just us like kids anymore. Like we have a chance to get back to Winterfell. But again, like this is where she starts going over a lot of stuff we talked about. They abandon her. The other one died. The one dies. Kurz had taken like an arrow wound, I think, when he was pulling up the ladder or whatever during the fighting. It didn't last long after that.
Moss and mud didn't cut it.
Yeah, they tried to heal and didn't cut it.
It's even worse than what they did for
Drogo.
Yeah. At least they tried with him.
Some types of herbs or something in there. Something smelly in there, yeah. Then they bury him, and then like we said, the 2 guys take anything useful and kind of just dip out.
What did they have? I mean, they couldn't have had much.
Sword, a bow,
or something like
boots,
that.
A knife, hunting horn. Like they had a decent amount of stuff.
Yeah.
Or I mean, he had like He kidded somebody out, you know.
Well, some of it had to have been theirs anyway.
And they're like, guys, we'll be right back. We're just
I don't know if it was theirs.
Just
but it was
going to
all-
the gas station to buy a pack of cigarettes. We promise we'll be right back. And we all know how that story ends, right?
Yeah. You would have thought, I mean, maybe the Lannisters took a lot of the supplies as they were burning the place down. Like, oh, here's an extra sword. Let's take it. But, like, I don't remember Arya
Well, they're all
running
armed.
away with
Lami
like,
has a spear.
grab.
Lami has a spear. Hopeye has a sword.
Right. I'm saying they didn't grab extra supplies as they were running out of the tunnel.
I think the biggest one was food, right?
Well, yeah, what they talk about, they don't even have food. They're eating
they
bugs.
got no
worms
food.
and bugs and Kurz taught them how to eat acorn paste.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, dude, it sounds disgusting. Well, I remember
Acorns
one
are
time.
gross.
I remember one time when I was in Little League. I was at bat, probably struck out. I don't know. Maybe
You definitely struck out.
Maybe it was my
T-ball.
my 1 in 100 hits.
Hitting wasn't your strength. It was throwing the ball from center field fence.
100%. So I come back in the dugout and there's this kid in there and he had just eaten a bunch of peanuts and he had all the shells in this water bottle with like a little bit of water in it and he was just shaking the crap out of it and like smashing it against the thing. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, somebody told my older brother, some fucking kid, somebody convinced this fucking kid that you can make peanut butter that way. Or like, that's how you make peanut butter. It was taking peanut shells and like a little bit of water and just like mashing the fuck out of it.
Poor kid.
I was like, dude, thank God you tried this with like
This
other
tells me that
sensible
you were
people
on the
around.
bench. You and the weird kid on the bench
team,
just didn't
our
play.
team didn't win a lot, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I
in
could
Little
tell.
League.
All right, so
But yeah, they're basically eating that. That's what Arya's eating. It's like that, but with acorns instead of peanut
Yeah.
shells.
Well, there's a nut inside of an acorn shell.
Yeah, I gotcha.
so they can't hunt. They tried to fish. She couldn't catch them with her bare hands. Lami's being a little bitch. He's hungry.
Still yelling about yielding.
So
all he wants
she
to bring up
can't
is
swim
yielding.
into the God's Eye because she can't get naked still.
She sees some swans swimming or flying right off like a
Black
little
swans
island.
too.
They don't give a fuck about the war. She thinks that she wants to be one, but she also wants to eat one. And then that's when they start getting into the food situation. And she starts about she's eating fucking bugs and worms and acorn paste. And nobody who all's eating that with her. Hot Pie tried a bug, but threw up.
I tried and puked.
Weasel's
Lami-
eating bugs with her.
Weasel's all about it. Again, kids, right? You just teach kids to eat whatever and they'll eat whatever.
Yeah, they don't care.
Kids are resilient as fuck.
Slimy yet satisfying.
But Gendry and Lami weren't having any of that shit. And they say Lemmy, they got
Lami.
something, right?
Lami.
Lami and Gendry got something, right?
They're getting berries.
Gendry got
They said
frog.
Hopeye ate a whole fucking bush.
A frog?
Hot
Is that what it
potato.
was? Or a
Yeah,
squirrel?
Gendry-
Gendry
frog.
found the
Frog.
frog, yeah, and split it with Lami.
Yeah.
So
Oh, and Hot Pie tried eating a beetle and threw it up.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's all the food stuff, right?
yeah, so they just talk. This is like when we get the beginning of the yield stuff. Like Gendry's trying to think about what they should do. I think with the
They
town.
say yield so many fucking times this chapter, and every
Yeah.
single time I typed it in my fucking notes, I put the I and the E, fucking got them backwards.
Yeah,
I
we
before you, buddy.
Literally like 20 times got it wrong. Fucking idiot. I'm so fucking stupid.
uh,
I don't know why I can't get it right, dude. I'm just so dumb.
They said why.
Don't you have autocorrect?
It underlines it, tells me it's wrong, but I click on it every
Okay.
time.
so this is when they decide who's going to go and check out this town. And
Wait, real
Gendry's
quick,
like,
before we go into this, Jeff, I just have a quick question. What's the timeline, Jeff? Because she said she took off her shoes and has
Mhm.
tough feet now. Like, is it 3 weeks
I'm saying
after
it's
the
a couple-
initial
They're hungry.
battle?
I think it can't be long enough that they're out of food. I'll check out what my timeline says.
Might have been a week or two, yeah.
I would
But,
say
like, you
2
don't get
weeks.
calloused feet in 1 week.
This says 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's what mine
Yeah.
I get
says.
used to it.
I mean,
I think 2
If
weeks is
you're
a bit long
walking
to be
on-
without any food, but
if you're walking in a day,
talking
you get a
about feet,
blister,
Nelson.
it calluses, you walk on it again, you just keep walking on it. I would think it's got a
Alright,
shot
fine.
to.
I'll give it 2 weeks.
I don't know. We'll have to just try it.
speaking of, we did realize that there was something wrong with the timeline in the last Sansa chapter. We think it's related to what did I say? What did we get wrong? I said it was like way earlier than it was or something.
Yeah.
You thought it was before.
I thought it matched up with Tyrion, like Tyrion 2 or something, or Tyrion 3, but it actually
You
matched up
thought
with
it
a
was
closer
before
Tyrion.
Tyrion, but they already knew it. Like Sansa had already known something.
I don't know. I don't know what it was, but it matches up with a closer Tyrion. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Well, I think I'll remember it in the next Tyrion chapter. But
Whatever.
So-
So
So anyway, but they were talking about yielding and whatever, and he's like, yeah, Yorn should have just opened the gate. And then I think Gendry says something pretty smart here where he's like, knights and lordlings take each other captive and pay ransom, but they were going to just murder us anyway. Like, they're opening the gate or not, like, we were lost. like this was over. So he's kind of like pushing back on that, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty much like, they would have killed us anyway.
Yeah.
So they're kind of discussing who's going to go to this town just to check it out, maybe steal some food if they can. If it's friends, maybe get help. Lami's just like, just go yield. Just go yield right now. Hot Pie's like, man, if Lami's leg wasn't hurt, he'd be able to go steal. He was a thief. And Genji's like, all right, I'm going. And Arya's like, no, you're not. You're too loud. I'm going too. Or she wants to go, but they both go.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm going too. Which, dumbass. Fucking dumbass.
So by now, I was just looking through to make sure we didn't miss anything. By now, Arya has climbed down from the tree. We're like in the present time. And I think the only thing we missed was that she talks about how Kurz had mentioned that he taught them to use animal noises to like signal each other.
Signal. Dog barks and
bark.
Well, and she kind of blows her cover again. If they were smarter,
when she talks about
she knows too much about the boars. Yeah, exactly. Like that's definitely not a poor person's thing, really.
This whole thing, I think, is like it wasn't really the boars that reminded me of it, but the boars are included when I think back on it. The hawks make me. The only time we've heard of hawks one other time, and it was when we heard about Robert and Stannis as kids, right? When Robert Stannis tells the story of Nighthawks, and we have Gendry literally right here, and so they're talking about like. It's funny because there's like a lot of talk about lords. Like when he finds out about her later, he's like, oh, my lady. But he's a bastard. But like his dad is, he finds out the same thing. The same thing's true for him. Basically, that's true for her. Like they both have lord fathers, right?
She doesn't know that.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that like it's here. I think that's definitely meant to be a little bit of, hey, we're talking about a bunch of Baratheon shit, and I think Gendry's even the one that's like, stop talking about that. We don't have time for that, right? Like, he tells them to shut up when they're talking about like, and yeah, she's not talking about the hawks. She's thinking about them. But like the boar stuff, I think Robert was a huge boar guy too. So I just thought it seemed like a weird Gendry parallel.
That's what killed him.
Yeah.
So,
big boar guy.
Yeah.
What's the saying? It's when the shit you love is what kills you.
Something like that. Yeah.
I've never heard that.
But yeah, so I think that might be from the Game of Thrones, the show, maybe. Might be a show quote. Might be a show only quote. I'm not sure.
It's a Game of Thrones quote.
Game of Thrones word.
I don't know.
Game of Thrones
I might be
phrase.
totally wrong.
Never heard of it.
But yeah, Arya. So wait, when they're talking about boar stuff, Arya just like dumps basically all the knowledge that she knows because she's highborn. Like you need spears and dogs and other people because Lami's claiming
to flush them
out.
out.
Lami's claiming that he could get boars if he like if his leg was fine. He's like, I would just get us boars and we'd be totally fine, no problem.
All right, so right before they leave, they're like, all right, you watch Weasel, don't let her go, because I guess the last time they tried to do this, she ran away and came after Arya. So Hot Pie's in charge of watching her, and Arya and Gendry scamper off, and pretty quickly Gendry's like, well, Lami's gonna die. We should leave him.
Yeah. And he's like, we should leave Weasel and Hot Pie too. They're all useless. You're the only useless one, and you're a chick.
He tries to pull a fucking cutthroat or whatever the fuck the guy's name is.
Cutjack.
Let's fucking bail on these kids.
Yeah, and like I was saying earlier, like everyone has this idea to everybody else at some point in this chapter, except for Arya. She's the only one who doesn't want to leave anybody behind, pretty much.
Which again, is the smart move to leave everybody, but it's
leave select
also
people.
not the right move.
Like I think Arya probably would have been like best with Gendry here, right? She's probably better with Gendry. I mean, maybe not. Gendry's stupid and gets captured real life, so who knows?
At least he's big.
Yeah.
Has a chance of fighting somebody
in
a TV too.
It means something. When you don't got anything else going for you, being big means something. Speaking from experience here.
She mentions that maybe we could find. Well, Arya again is not about it. She's like, oh, maybe we can find a maester and
get him some help. And Gendry's like, well, no maester's gonna touch him. Yeah. And there's no maesters around here because there's no castles.
And no one gives a fuck about Lami Green Hands.
Again, kind of like what Kyle was saying earlier. She's giving herself away a little bit if Gendry's paying attention. I mean, he finds out anyway in a second, but
we already knew.
She thinks that maesters help everybody because everyone she ever knew was
matters.
worthy of getting helped by a maester. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's also true because like Winterfell's such a smaller castle.
I think
Lewin's a nice guy too. Like we know that not all maesters are nice guys, right? She had a good experience with her maester. She only knew one, right? Small sample size. But yeah, like I don't know if Lewin would have helped everybody, but he would have helped probably more people than most.
Like Hodor, when he was a fucking stable boy.
Exactly. He's like looking out for Hodor and shit. So Gendry basically says like even if we don't leave him, the sooner he dies, the better for everybody else. Just because like he's he's providing nothing. He's just taking up food and they gotta carry him around, right?
Kill him around.
Yeah. Just wants to yield everything.
They definitely are killing squad.
Really killing morale.
He's like, literally everybody's useless except for us. He's like, even if you are a girl. And she's like, oh, hold up.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm not a girl.
I'm not a girl.
To whip out your dick and piss in
Dick
front of
measuring
me.
contest.
Yeah, how about this? I'll whip mine out. You want to see mine? You pervert.
Even though I know you're a girl, yeah.
Then pull out your cock and take a piss. Go on. Like, you can't just pee on command. What if she just peed earlier? She's not.
I mean, but you can still take your dick out.
You still whip your dick out.
Yeah, but why do you have to piss? What?
Yeah, I mean, whatever. He's just saying.
He's just saying whip your dick out. Let me see your fucking dick.
She's saying like, she's trying to deny it by saying like the Night's Watch don't take girls, and he's like, yeah, I don't know why Yorn brought you, but he must have had a reason. He's like,
yeah, shit doesn't make
either
sense.
Way, you're still a girl.
She brings a comeback though. Those gold cloaks wanted you. Why did they want you?
Yeah.
He's like, I have no idea, man.
That's a deflection. Yeah, that's like, but what
it's
about
funny
you?
Because he's like, I didn't notice when there's 30, but now that there's 4, I noticed that you like go off to pee by yourself. He's like, so you're either a girl or a eunuch. She's like, you're the eunuch, and he's like, I'm not a eunuch, and he like gives her like a little smile. He's like, I'll pull my cock right now if you want. If you want to see.
Has Arya's young eyes been gazing over while
I think it's like the thing where like in like Britain where you can like drink at you can drink at a really young age, so like they just don't get super hammered all the time because it's like whatever, right? You're just used to it. Arya's just like used to just dudes pissing in front of her, so it's probably just like whatever at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, she was surrounded by 29 dudes.
30 dudes, just exactly. She was in all deep in the locker room talk. You know?
Yeah.
So she has a little thought to herself here about because again, just comes back like, I don't know. They never told me. But so who are you? Like, why would they be after you? And she thinks of Yorn, an old quote. This lot, half of them would turn you over to the queen, quick as spit for a pardon and maybe a few silvers. The other half do the same, only they'd rape you first.
Yeah. But she thinks Gendry's not one of them.
Gendry's different.
Yeah.
And
she's like, I'll show you mine if you show me yours. And he's like, I got nothing. He's like, I honestly don't know what that whole deal was. And he's like, I'm being honest with you, Ari. He's like, wait, is that even your real name? Do you have some girl's name? And she's like, fuck. I gotta kill this son of a bitch now.
She does think that. I thought that was so funny when I was reading that. I was like, she's about to kill Gendry right now.
If I tell you, I have to kill you. Yeah. But she's like, fuck, I probably couldn't kill him. He's so big and he has a sword too and a helmet.
So
he's like
hot and big penis.
She's like, fuck, I gotta tell him. All right, you guys can read this quote. I gotta get another beer.
Arya.
She raised her eyes to his.
My name is Arya of House Stark.
Of House.
It took him a moment before he said,
The king's hen was named Stark. The one they killed for a traitor.
He was never a traitor. He was my father.
Gendry's eyes widened.
So that's why you thought.
She nodded.
Yorn was taking me home to Winterfell.
You're highborn then. You'll be a lady.
Arya looked down at her ragged clothes and bare feet, all cracked and calloused. She saw the dirt under her nails, the scabs on her elbows, the scratches on her hands. Septa Mordane wouldn't even know me, I bet. Sansa might, but she'd pretend not to.
My mother's a lady, and my sister, but I never was.
Yes, you were. You were a lord's daughter, and you lived in a castle, didn't you? And you... Gods be good, I never...
All of a sudden, Gendry seemed uncertain, almost afraid.
All that about cocks. I never should have said that. And I've been pissing in front of you and everything. I beg your pardon, milady.
Stop that!
Arya hissed. Was he mocking her?
I know my courtesies, milady.
Gendry said, stubborn as ever.
Whenever highborn girls came into the shop with their fathers, my master told me I was to bend the knee and speak only when they spoke to me, and call them milady.
If you start calling me milady, even Hotpie is gonna notice. And you better keep on pissing the same way too.
As milady commands.
Arya slammed his chest with both hands. He tripped over a stone and sat down with a thump.
What kind of lord's daughter are you?
He said, laughing.
This kind.
She kicked him in the side, but it only made him laugh harder.
Look at her. Just keeps wanting to look at his cock.
She had a little southern drawl there.
I'm sorry.
I liked it.
All right, so they're getting close to this deal, and
we don't want to talk about that at all. I mean, I don't know what we're going to talk about. It's.
Well, I mean, she's got a point. Like,
it's the revelation.
You can't be doing that. Like, it is and isn't though. I feel. Yeah, I guess it is.
I mean, for Gendry, not for us, but
yeah.
All right. I mean, all right. She became fucking Arya Stark.
The other thing is, I thought for some reason I thought that he knew she was found out she was a girl, but not the highborn thing earlier. Like, weren't they like fighting about something right before the Gold Cloak showed up? I thought maybe
I mean, she kind of almost spilled
something
to him, and to everybody then, especially. But I don't think that if any of that came out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, not,
just like in this chapter, she was dropping hints like, blah blah blah, whatever. I don't even remember what the hints were, but it was like, why the fuck would you know about that? You were eating a pigeon the other day.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, he's laying on the ground laughing, and she's like, "Fuck it," and goes off to the village by herself. And then he catches up right as it's getting close to dusk. They're on the outskirts. They smelled something bad that they suggest is rotted fish, but they both know that's not really what it is, and pretty much they think it's bodies, and she confirms it later when she sees the bodies.
It's a dead body. Dead man stink. That's what it is.
You know it's not rotten fish.
Yeah.
So they split up. They split up. The smell is growing stronger as they get closer to the deal. Arya has to kind of climb her way through, under a bush, under some shit, and she gets to the gate.
Basically, no. She basically like crawls up under a bush till she's like hears some stuff as she's getting up, smells the stuff even more, and then she crawls up under a bush and she finally has a vantage point. Like it looks. I think she's basically looking parallel to the shore. The way that I see it, she's like looking parallel to the shore. Shore's on one of her sides.
Like the town is surrounded by bushrow, hedgerow kind of thing, or her house on the edge just has. At least
the way I picture is like in front of her is a long beach with like all this like gibbet set up again, like kind of parallel to the way her.
Yeah, those dudes are like in the water.
Yeah, like hung up right along the edge, and then like past that's a house. Yeah, that's the way I kind of saw it.
So we got some nasty body parts hanging up.
Yeah, so I think she has 6 total bodies.
6 dead bodies. Yeah. One's just a leg.
A leg.
Crows are eating faces
all
off.
strung up upside down. Yeah, like destroyed, ruined.
Green entrails hanging out.
They're so bad that like they takes her. She's like literally going like one by one down, looking at them all to like try and like harden her resolve or whatever. And she's like by the 3rd or 4th one before she realized they're naked. That like these bodies are just like so rotten and like pieces of flesh flying off, and that it looks like they're almost like wearing clothes or. It's just, you know what I mean? Like that just tells you how disgusting it was. She was like the 3rd body in before she realized that they were hung up naked.
And something big ate one or two of them.
Yeah,
big old chunks taken
There's
out.
Birds all over them. Crows have been eating their face. One of them had its arm ripped off and belly eaten, entrails hanging out. Yeah, not good. Bad sight. But she kind of does like the whole thing, like harden resolve. They're dead. They can't hurt me. But she's like, oh fuck, the people that did this to them can't hurt me.
They're still alive.
She might have a Sirio or 2 thing. Fear cuts deeper than sword. Silent as a cat or whatever.
And then
shadow.
Yep.
She sees some banners drooping from staffs, and she recognizes the crimson.
Well, she said she sees red, but can't tell if it's crimson or not.
Yeah, she said she could not be certain that red one was Lannister crimson.
Who else would it be but Lannister?
One thing we skimmed over, just a little funny thing. When her and Gendry first split up, they decide like where to go. He like looks over his shoulder and she says that he sees him looking at her as she's running away, and he has that stupid look he gets on his face when she can tell that he's thinking. And he says that she's probably thinking that he shouldn't be letting a lady go steal food, go off stealing or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, she pretty much tells him like to not get caught, and then like
immediately gets
jumping
caught.
ahead, but he immediately gets caught. What? Yeah, he was not very.
I think it's almost more back to what the conversation that you just had previously was like. You can't go calling me my lady and treating me differently now, or the other ones are going to realize and like immediately not like super treating like her differently, but he's just like kind of staring at her now, right? And she catches her doing that type thing.
Back to that, yeah. For sure. Yeah, he's I mean,
and she says that, those things right? Like she knows he's going to be stupid now, is the way she puts it.
Cat's out of the bag,
she says, yeah.
So, yeah,
he doesn't seem to be very smart anyway.
No.
Yeah, kind of dense.
Yeah. He's more of just
Gendry the lunk, thick as a castle wall.
All right.
So what? She starts seeing some people?
She starts seeing some people. There's 2 spearmen at the front of the
at the big house, the one with the slate roof,
at the thatched house or the slate roof.
I think she says there's like 26 houses with thatch roof and 1 slate, so it's like the big main town hall or whatever.
It's the nicest place, yeah, for sure.
So there's 2. That's when she sees there's 2 guards out there, and she sees the banners. She can't see what either of them are for sure, but one looks red and one looks paler. She assumes the red one's Lannister, and then she's like, I don't know. But then she's like, it has to be Lannister. Who the fuck else would do this type thing? Like,
and the sun's going down, so it's getting dark out. She couldn't really tell, but it's got to be them.
Yep.
And then there was a shout.
Yeah.
They caught his ass.
And again, it's too dark, so she can't really make out really anything, faces or anything. But the person they caught's wearing a helmet. And the helmet the person
She
is
sees the
wearing
horns.
has the horns.
Pretty distinctive marking there.
So she's like, "Fuck! What an idiot! Stupid! Stupid!
What
Stupid!
a-
Stupid! Stupid! Stupid
What a
Gendry."
dumbass.
Yeah.
How'd he get caught? Being too loud, like always.
And it seems like they've got some prisoners because when
100%.
they
Like, yeah.
they take him to this house and a little kid tries to run away and they just
Gets
catch
grabbed
his
and
ass
tossed back
right
in.
away.
Yep. And
then there's,
even
like,
she
screaming.
hears screaming, and crying and shit from inside. Does not sound good.
Just, again, is evident from the corpses hanging by their feet out over the water. These
Yeah.
people
So then
aren't
this is-
above
Did she
that.
get closer? Did she get closer to see?
No, not yet.
Or-
But the wind blows, and she gets a good look at the banners right after Gendry goes inside. And
right,
she's
right,
like,
right.
"It is Lannister," and she notices the Clegane sigil. She doesn't remember right away who it is, but I think George did a little tricky trick here by putting 2 chapters back together. So, like, even a first-time reader, you know who this
Right,
band.
we just
got
heard the
backstory,
story
like,
about- we just heard
5
the story.
pages ago. Yeah, like 5 pages prior to this chapter. So,
And if
Yeah,
you
it's
weren't
the
reading them,
Lorches.
not that it matters
you
because she's not that it matters because Arya spells it out like word for word at the very end. But like, there's like a few pages here where the reader knows who it is and Arya doesn't. Right? It's not a huge like crazy thing, but cool little suspense.
Spoiler!
Cool little
It's not a spoiler. It's part of the
Just
chapter.
crazy writing by
George
George.
putting in spoilers in his own book.
Just
What a
crazy
dick.
writing by George. Just so high level writing right there.
Oh, I'm about to introduce this thing. Maybe I should mention it in a chapter close to this. Is that really that?
I was being a little facetious there.
I know.
so Arya ends up staying out here pretty long. She gets to see the guards change a couple times.
She does have one interesting thought. She wonders if the people inside there know the queen want him. And
Yeah,
what did the
that's
people
good.
that the queen did they say anything? In the show they
He
say
carries a bull.
that's what they
a
say in the
bull
show.
hound.
Do they say that in the books?
I don't remember that.
The other
I don't recall.
I don't
that.
remember it either. And the other thing is that's the king. The other thing to remember is that's the gold cloaks and this is the mountains men, right? Even
Yeah, right.
While they're kind of on the same side, they don't even have the same commanders. One reports to Tywin.
Well,
one
they're not
reports to Cersei.
talking to each other. Yeah, probably.
Exactly.
I mean, they might get crows and stuff, but
Exactly. So
is
like,
that
I'm not saying it's a full surefire thing, but like the one distinguishing feature they had is like the helmet that all the guards are tossing around and trying on right now. So I thought it was an interesting thought. But yeah,
All
Jeff,
right,
you
whatever.
go.
So she sees a bunch of the guards change a couple times. People bring a deer back from a hunt. They're taking horses down to drink. She's just kind of watching it all, getting a little hungry. Did she go home? What does she do
Basically
next?
she just goes back to see
Yeah,
him.
she
On the way
starts
back,
heading
she does
back.
hear some wolves. And when she shows up, she says that Lami and Hopeye almost shit themselves. And they say that
I thought you were a wolf. I thought you left us.
I thought that was interesting because
I yield.
Arya is a wolf.
That's right.
Arya is a Stark, so I thought that was interesting when they're like, "We thought you were a wolf." In my notes I have she is lol.
I didn't put that together, but that does
That is a good one.
imagery.
I
The
am a wolf,
Weasel
bitch.
comes flying up. I mean, Weasel obviously loves her.
Yep.
Do you think Weasel knows she's a girl?
Yeah, their cycles are in sync.
No way.
That's
First off,
pretty
no
good.
way now.
They go pee together.
Second off, no way, glove. I don't think she knows. I don't
Should I
think
cut
she.
that
Like,
out? Is that gonna offend female viewers?
It's offensive.
it's weird.
It's pretty. I mean, Glow laughed. Glow thought it was funny.
That's pretty funny. I mean, they're both not going through their periods, so it's still a funny.
That's why
joke.
it's funny because it's like obviously not true.
But
I'm gonna leave it. I think I'm gonna leave it in.
Only if you leave the subsequent conversation about whether or not you should leave it in.
Just so that at least if anybody is offended, they know that at least I was concerned about offending them.
We had a discussion.
Yeah.
You overruled the more sensible
This
individuals.
is 2021. This is
and
what we
left
have to do, boys. We got to be cover your tracks.
All right. So as they're talking here, they want to. You gotta be careful. As they're talking here, they want to. She wants to bring him. She wants to break him out.
Lami's basically saying to yield right away to him.
Lami's just a fucking
Popeye's
broken
like-
record this chapter.
I might have had to kill Lami if I was traveling with him.
Well, I mean, like at this point, like yeah, that's obviously not an option. Like they have your dude. There's this barn
They're
full
taking-
of screaming
they're taking
people.
prisoners.
I mean, if we're
here.
looking at
Right.
this from an outside perspective, not inside Arya's head, Lami's probably right. Like from the beginning, like Gendry's what, like 15? Arya's not. Arya's second oldest at 9, and like we don't have the band of brothers here. Like, what are we gonna do? Especially once Gendry's captured. Like, either leave him or they're right. You got it. Like the survival is you leave. Like Arya's path is not exactly what
Arya's
happens.
idea isn't horrible.
It's honorable,
What?
but exactly what
Sneak
happens.
up and-
No shit
I said it's not
happens. No
horrible.
shit they get captured. She said there's 20 fucking guardsmen. She tells them.
Yeah, but there's only 2 sitting in front
I
of
mean,
the
they
one
don't even
thing.
they don't even start
had to-
moving yet. They're already on their tail.
If there was 2 Aryas, I think they survive and killed the 2 guardsmen.
Did they send scouts
Gendry.
out right when they got Gendry?
The other thing is, a lot of fans blame Gendry here. We're jumping a little bit ahead. A crow lands on him. If a crow lands on Arya,
That's
it's
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye. Does Arya not like gasp? It doesn't say like he even yells. He gasps, and they're like, "Who's there?" And then he overreacts. He might have been able to play it off at that point, right? Like he hadn't even startled other crows until he jumps up. But like, you're gonna gasp if a crow lands on you while you're army crawling through a mud
I
field.
don't know, man. You're on a fucking covert mission into this
You
town.
gotta try
I
to
mean,
be as quiet as possible.
If people are trying to kill you or capture you, like maybe you can like take a fucking crow landing on you.
It didn't claw him. It didn't peck him. It just fucking landed on his
That would be
back.
startling. Little, I don't know. I thought you little gasp.
All right, let's get to the part that we need to talk about.
Well,
Didn't hear it flapping
we jumped
around,
ahead.
though.
We
It
gotta
didn't just come
go
out of
back at
nowhere.
all.
I don't know.
Lami's
I
yelling
mean,
about yielding.
they argue about leaving. Lami doesn't want them to leave. He wants to yield.
He wants to either leave Gendry behind or just straight up yield. Yeah.
hmm
And she's like, no, first off, we can't leave Gendry because you need him to carry you or else you'll die because we can't carry you.
Arya does have a great line here coming up.
What? And second off, I just don't. At one point, she's like, and I just don't give a fuck. We're going back to get him. I don't think
I
that's what
don't
you're
know
talking
what the
about.
line is. Yeah.
What if the wolves come?
Oh, yeah.
What if the wolves come?
Yield.
Tell him you yield. That's so
But
great.
but she's like to Lami basically like, if we don't get Gendry, who the fuck's carrying you? Like
Yeah.
me and Hawkeye can't
Yeah,
carry you.
exactly.
We're never getting anywhere.
And he's like, you guys can carry me. She's like, shut up. You're not even part of this anymore. We're going.
And yielding to the wolves is going to get him literally the same thing that yielding to these people
Yeah,
as
kind
well.
of like
So
what
I think
Gendry was saying
that's
earlier.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a simile. He has to yield to Arya's decision because she's the wolf.
There you go.
Ooh.
Now we're getting real deep with it, but that might be true. I never thought about it.
I
but
like
it kinda
that
makes
one.
sense.
All right, let's stay in our lane, guys. Let's not go too
Kyle, welcome to the spoiler section where we just get absolutely
get wild with
wild. Outlandish was the word I was looking for. Yeah, so she says keep Weasel here, and then they leave. They're on the way.
She
Takes way longer.
warns him that there's dead people hanging.
Yeah, it takes
Well, yeah, Hawkeye's fat as
sucks
fuck.
to
She
just
had to like
tripping over
go.
everything. Yeah, he just sucks. He warns about the dead bodies. He's actually kind of okay with it. He does try and talk when they first like crawl into the
He
bushes.
doesn't look up though.
Yeah, he's good about it. Yeah, he keeps his head down. You're right. And she has to put the finger to his mouth because he starts talking. But yeah, like it kind of jumps from them being under the hedges to them like being underneath the like bodies. But like I give Popeye some credit here. He like army crawled across like a field with like dead bodies hanging over him until a crow landed on him. So he's like decently deep into it, at least in my mind.
And he's such a bitch though.
He does become a bitch really quick when he jumps up and starts yielding like immediately. And even Arya like thinks shit maybe they can save it and is like get back down, and he just like sprints at him. Arya jumps up. She's got needles. She's about to fucking pop off. And then, Scott, did you think like for a second? First off, like what did you think? I guess when Gendry got captured, did you think that they were gonna save him at all? Did you think like he had a chance?
Kinda, and again, this goes back to what Glow was saying earlier with like maybe if they had 2 Aryas, but she had no help. Like unless she went on loan, which she probably should have done.
Yeah,
there was no opportunity here. This was never.
You think she could have went silent assassin on
I
him?
don't,
Like
I don't know that she would have
Assassin's
killed
Creed?
anybody necessarily.
she never straight up says it, but I think that's like her original plan, right? When he originally gets captured, she says like she just waits. And she like waits, and it seems like she's waiting till like everything's dying down, like they're done eating food, everyone goes away except for the last 2 guards, and she's like, "Fuck, I don't think these guys." At least in my head, the way I took it, was like, she's like, "Fuck, these guys are gonna guard. Like, there's gonna be 2 guys on guard all night. Like, I'm not gonna get a time."
Which is why she brought
Which is why
Hawkeye,
she goes back
because
to get Hawkeye.
she needed a second person.
Which I think
because-
her original plan was try and wait and do a solo mish if possible. She never says it, but
Yeah,
in my
100%.
it's kind of what it seemed from where she was
While she was waiting
scoping
out.
it out. Yeah.
Holding out hope.
Yep.
So she gets knocked out. Not knocked out. She gets knocked down. They take needle.
Bite some chainmail. They're like, the rascal.
You're a
fierce
You,
one.
feisty
you fierce
one.
one.
Yeah. And then now she's looking up the mountain. Hop Eye's kneeling next to her. They pick her up off the dirt, and She realized
Popeye's such a little bitch.
Kind of a bitch.
He told him that they had other people
before Arya even like gets there. He like told him about the other people and like immediately.
What a fucking
and immediately
cock.
he's like, "Don't kill me! I'll fucking bake for you. I'll bake you pies and cakes. If you don't, just don't kill me. I'll do anything."
Oh yeah, there's 2 other people. One's injured and
One's
one's
a
a 3-year-old
girl. Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, at that point, it's
Popeye's
almost
a rat.
like, I mean, I guess not better, but these guys are getting taken captive for the time being. Like, maybe Lamy would have gotten taken captive. That would have been better than him dying out there. But what happens to him is maybe even better than him dying out there, right? Because what happens if they don't come and get him? Weasel's not carrying his ass
Probably gets
anywhere.
eaten by wolves.
He just sits there until he starves or gets eaten by something. So
Yeah, that was lose.
yeah, it's kind of a blessing in disguise at the end of this chapter. But
You think Weasel's gonna be raised by wolves?
that'd be badass. She's like Mowgli.
Wait, Weasel got away? I didn't even realize that.
Weasel didn't get away.
Yeah, she says
Yeah.
run. We're jumping ahead a
yeah,
She
little bit.
ran
Yeah,
off
so
when she
the
heard
mountain-
you coming. Wow,
The
that's
mountain
awesome.
commands them to go away.
Go ahead,
she
Weasel.
recognizes who the mountain is because of Sans had pointed him out or his shield out or something at a tournament. And when she realized, first off, he says the biggest man I ever saw. And she, like Glow pointed out earlier, knows Hodor.
The mountain that rides.
So I don't know if there was ever a dispute.
He's even bigger than Hodor, you'll see. Is he?
Who said that? What do you mean?
That's what Sansa
Yeah.
says. He's even bigger than Hodor.
I
You'll see.
didn't even catch that in the book. But yeah, I was just thinking like Arya says he's the biggest, tallest man I ever saw. And then Arya knows Hodor. So yeah, big dude.
Hodor.
2 giants.
So then I think we're kind of caught up. They're leading him back. Hot Pie's pleading for his life. They get to Lamy. And
Hodor.
by the time they get to Lamy, Weasels run off. And they're like, where's the other one? There's 4 of them here.
Hodor.
Only 4 of them came. And as soon as
Are
they
you
get
the
there,
last Baker boy said there was a girl?
as soon as they get there, Lamy back to his
I yield. I yield.
back to his classic
Dude, they're
one
both
trick
little
pony.
pussies.
And he tells them Weasel ran away. The men demand some knowledge from Lamy. So like, we got a hot meal
Where
in
is
it for you. If you
Dundarian
tell
and
us
his
where
bandits or something?
exactly. Where's Dundarian? You got a hot meal in it for you. And Lamy's like, what the
They don't
fuck
even
are you
know.
talking
They
about,
don't even
bro?
know what that means.
Yeah.
Who is what?
Arya might recognize him.
Maybe if they had the sigil.
She just from like Jean and
There's a chance she
right.
would
Didn't
remember
Jean?
the
This
name.
is the one that Jean
Oh,
Poole
right.
liked.
Yeah, but that was
Yeah.
Sansa.
But Arya had to
she
listen
wasn't-
in on a
she didn't
breakfast
hang
or
out with
two.
Jane Poole though.
Maybe.
She has to know who Dundarian is, right?
Like, I mean, she
was
didn't even know
always
who
with
the
the
mountain is.
dancing
I mean, she
class.
didn't even know who the mountain. Like, she doesn't know who the mountain is. She barely recognizes
True.
him. So,
But
I'll say
Dundarian
it's
lived with her.
50-50.
what do you mean?
Not really.
No, Dundarian's from the Reach.
Yeah, he's not from the north.
Wasn't he in the King's Landing?
No, remember he has his own.
He was,
he was
but
in King's Landing, but he was just there
he
for
was
the
in
tour.
a
For a
tent
brief
outside.
time. For a brief
So
time.
was she.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean, they
Lived
were
there
there
at King's
together
Landing.
for a while. The mountain wasn't
For a
there,
brief-
really.
Gotcha.
That's like
million
living
people
in New
the
York
city.
City with another
But,
person.
Like, Dundarian, wasn't he like close to the king?
Hold on. He had to be there about as long as the mountain was because they both showed up for the tourney. The mountain leaves to do what Tywin wants him to do, which is like.
Oh, he showed up for the tournament. For some reason, I thought he was like in
in
the
their
town.
guard.
Yeah.
No,
Nah, I think
he
he
was
was
there
for
for
the
the
tournament,
tourney.
All
But
right,
then he was still there,
you're good.
and
I
then
don't
Ned
need to
sends
argue
him
over
out
this.
to go hunt the
He
mountain.
got sent to hunt the mountain, so he couldn't have been too far after the mountain on his heels, is what I was saying. But yeah, they're like, "Where is he?" He says, "I don't know." And this guy's like, "Fuck, they don't know any more than these idiots from the village. I knew this was going to be a waste of time."
Can you walk?
He goes over. He's like, "Something
Now
wrong
you're
with your
gonna
leg,
have to
boy."
carry me.
He's like, "Something wrong with your leg."
Something wrong
He's
with
like,
your
I
leg,
got hurt.
boy.
He's like, "Can you walk?"
You're gonna have to
No,
carry
you have to
me.
carry me.
You think
I
so?
think so. Spear through the throat.
That's fucking
He
savage.
asked me to carry
And
him.
then he starts
Now
laughing.
they carry him.
Yeah.
No.
Carry him, he says.
No, yeah,
That's
they just
fucked.
laugh about it and leave them there dead, I'm sure.
Yeah. And the other thing, like Jeff said, I kind of skipped over because I went back to retrace our tracks. But yeah, when Weasel gets away, Arya's thinking to herself, "Run, Weasel, run. Go, go, go. Get it." So she does. Weasel does get away.
Yeah.
All
It
right.
was just like a one-line thing I forgot.
Yeah. Kyle, predictions.
I mean, this isn't looking good. So they have
Popeye,
both
Gendry, Arya.
Gendry's helmet, which we talked about already. We kind of skimmed over the fact that they have Needle, which is very obviously Castle Forge steel, and probably has a maker's mark on it somewhere that they might recognize. So what I want to happen is I want them to figure out a way to get out, obviously.
Well,
I think
also,
that's-
Hopeye had a sword, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like, it was probably just a shitty sword. Needle was, like, good steel. So, I mean, like I said, what obviously what you want to happen is you want Arya to be able to break out, but I think, unfortunately for them, like, this is a tough situation here. And I think what's going to happen is that they're going to be found out. They're going to figure out that they're important and that they have a chip now. So
gotcha. They become a pawn.
But I mean, I'm cool with either outcome, I guess, at this point. I have a want. That's usually how this goes. I have a want to happen and a like. You've been on,
you've been on the Arya back to Winterfell kick, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
I think that was like one of your first. I
think last chapter you did predict, like, as soon as they got away, you're like, yeah, the thing is, though, I think they're just going to get captured again. So, like, you did predict that. So, that's one in the column. We don't really keep track, but.
Good job, Cal.
Good job, Cal.
Counting kills, but not correct predictions. Thanks, guys. Now I know how you feel.
Speaking of, I did update the frag count, so check the Discord.
Did Yoren get 4 for the dead bodies laying around him?
I gotta see it in page. So the only person that got one
we ruled on that.
Is unnamed man for the mountain
guard. Yeah.
So the frag count will be updated in the Discord, so check that.
Did the mountain just kill Lamy, or was that another person?
Another guy.
Unnamed man.
The mountain. Did he go with? Yeah, he went with
the mountain didn't go. It sounded like he was going to go, but it didn't seem. It sounded like when he said it, he was going to go. But then when Arya saying, he said there was 4 of them that escorted them.
That's right.
Them. One with the torch, one with the sword.
Too much sense that he would.
Yeah. And she says like what their weapons were, and doesn't like say like one of them had like a great sword that was twice the height of Lam. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I think while it's a long chapter where not like much happens plot wise, like basically we go from Arya being on the verge of being like you could have just had this. Like capturing happened in the last chapter, but like a lot of stuff happens in terms of like Gendry finds out some stuff. That's pretty much.
That's just more fun, right? Yeah. You kind of get a little insight into some of these hunting camp, or I'm gonna call it a hunting camp, but you know what I'm saying, like the tactical force of the Lannister army. Yeah.
And again, I think a lot of these
enjoyed this chapter.
Yeah, and I think a lot of Arya chapters.
It was a good chapter. I think it was just longer than it needs. I mean, it was a long ass chapter for not. Just thinking. It was a lot of thinking.
The abandonment theme for Arya.
It's a lot of bullshit back and forth talking about nothing though at the same time.
Yeah,
it's kind of old. A lot of stuff happening. Yeah.
Way too much dialogue for Lamy to die. You know what I mean? Like how many times do we really have to hear him yield that much for him just to take a spear through the throat?
I mean, kind of proven Gendry right though. If you yield, doesn't really turn out for the small folk.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe that's the new theme. Don't yield.
Yeah. I will say the next chapter we have
has been a running theme, I think.
The next chapter we have is Tyrion, some number. I don't remember. Whatever, one more from
6, I think.
It's got to be up there.
Kyle,
do you have any prediction for the next Tyrion chapter? I don't remember if you got any in the last time we talked.
With the last one, you guys made fun of me because I was too dumb to see a lot of stuff. So hopefully I get to see some of that come into fruition here. I mean, Cersei's probably going to figure out that he's promised her kids around. Okay. And so maybe we get some more backstory into that.
Cool.
Like what's happening
you
there.
say you guys and was all Nelson.
That's not true. Listen to the podcast. I just edited it too. So we talked about it. I edited it in between us talking about it.
All right. It was Nelson and Jeff.
It was all of us.
I don't care. Like I said, that like what other fucking reason am I here for?
Yeah, you're the content. You're the talent.
Yeah, I know. That's why the Discord's so confusing. I had to make sure mine had my name in it because everybody thought I had 2 accounts, you know.
But yeah, check the Discord. I will update the frag count. I'll also update the timeline because it's just been a couple chapters. If you want to be added to the spoiler section, to the spoiler channels, message one of us and we'll add you to the roll. We'll see you guys in the spoilers. We'll see you guys next time. We'll see Kyle next time. See the rest of you guys in the spoiler section and in the Discord. Bye guys.
Later,
nerds. Peace, Cal. See ya, Cal. We'll see you on the next episode for Tyrion 6. And now on to the spoiler section.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
See you later, Kyle. It was great hanging out, bud.
Bye, Kyle.
We'll see you on the next episode for Tyrion 5 and or 6. But now on to the spoiler section of Arya 5. Boys, what are your hot takes for this?
You know, I'm gonna be honest. I read this like just I was reading, so I didn't take notes, and nothing really popped out that was like spoilerish to me.
There's not much. I mean, like the deep stuff. I think I talked about like the Gendry stuff, like the hawk thing. Again, like I don't think it's nothing crazy.
What do you even mean about the hawk? Like, because Stannis said that he wanted a hawk.
It was Baratheon.
Literally, we've only heard about hawking
one
time.
About hawking.
Exactly, but like the whole conversation had like a kind of Baratheon thing. They were talking about like Lamy says boar hunting, and Gendry said, Arya says you can't go boar hunting.
Is that a Baratheon theme or just a highborn theme?
It's shit we know about Robert. We know he likes boar hunting, and we know he's the only one of 2 characters we know about hawks, and they're both Baratheons. And again, it's nothing crazy. Like I don't think there's anything super crazy to it, but Gendry is right there.
So can we just? What the fuck did they do with this hawk? Did the hawk go out and like try and find the boar? Like what the fuck was the hawk?
Hawking wasn't for boar hunting. It was just
but what did they do with the hawk?
They got like mice.
There's like a pet hawk that I think you took flying and stuff.
What if it flew away and then you?
Well, I think that was the thing. Is it would fly high and you would train it. It's like the hawk at the Eagles game.
Yeah, dude.
The eagle at the Eagles game.
Same thing.
It's the same thing. It's just badass if you have a fucking bird that's just big ass, big as shit, and does cool shit.
He's like the dude from Mulan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So my one thing that I had that was foreshadowing is Gendry said the Lannisters would burn the lake if they could. And guess who burns a fucking sea?
Oh, you're right.
Tyrion.
I didn't even think about that. Good one. I didn't have that one.
I caught that when
turns
I first
out
read
they
it.
Turns out they can burn a body of water.
Yeah,
that's a good catch.
Good catch,
I don't
bro.
have many. I have 2 small ones that I don't think that take long to talk about.
Give yourself a pat on the back.
That's a good one though, Glow. Yep. Props to that one. 2 small ones. One, all these people that are hung up, the crows are eating what part of the
eyes?
The face.
So they're all what?
Faceless people.
They're all faceless people. They're all faceless men that are hung up, right?
Jock and Hagar cut their face off.
I think there's a little bit of foreshadowing there. They mentioned
Jock
that the
and
crows ate
Hagar's
their face
got
like
all
3 or
their
4
faces
times
already.
I don't know.
They say like 3 or 4 times the crows ate their
too.
face.
I don't know if they do say eyes at faces.
I don't know if they say eyes at all. They say
eyes
faces
multiple
4 times.
They said eyes twice. Because I was thinking eyes because of the 3-eyed crow.
The crows had eaten most of its face, and something else had been added as well, something much larger.
Yeah, and then they say it 2 or 3 more times after that.
The crows had eaten their eyes, and sometimes the crows had eaten their eyes, and sometimes their faces.
Yeah, there you go.
Give yourself both a pat on the
back. All right, last one is kind of similar to the Gendry one, so you guys might not like it. It's one of the things where I think it's when they talk about 2 things in proximity, might be a little bit of foreshadowing. When they talk about what they're eating,
Gendry's eating a toad.
Gendry's eating a frog, which makes you think of who?
Frog hands.
The reeds.
The reeds. And then what's the other thing they're eating besides bugs?
Worms.
That's a bug.
Berries.
Maybe it's not a bug. Forgetting technical. Besides berries, you're right. They're already eating berries. Cause teach them how to make it.
Acorns.
Acorn paste.
Yeah.
What the fuck's an acorn?
Jojen paste.
I did think of that.
I didn't at all. That's stupid.
Because they literally talk about acorn paste, and then next like sentence, the next paragraph, they're talking about frogs. And like, I don't know if you've read the book before and you're subscribed to Jojen paste.
No,
you can't not think about that at least a little bit when you read those 2 back to back.
Even bringing up the frog.
It's
thing
like
is,
3 books behind.
No, that's not. I mean,
bringing up the frog
Jojen,
thing and
like, in 2
connecting that to
chapters.
the reeds is fucking.
We meet the reeds in 2 chapters.
I mean,
literally
just
2
the whole,
chapters. Or maybe 3.
I'm fine with meeting the reeds because of a frog, but now we're taking acorn paste and that there's a frog mentioned to make it seem like we're eating Jojen.
I don't know if you guys would like it. I thought it made me think of Jojen.
Why do the reeds connect to the frogs?
It's their
they
sigil,
eat frogs.
Right? Or
they're
the
frogmen.
They're frogmen, yeah.
Because they eat frogs. And they're eating frogs here.
I mean, I think a lot of people eat frogs.
Mira's catching a ton of... Mira and Jojen are like...
From what I've heard, it's
Mira, but they're
good.
catching frogs. Like, they eat a lot of frogs when Bran's going north.
That's a stretch.
Stretching.
Let us know in the Discord
What
what
I
you guys
should be
think.
doing because I hurt my hammy is it's a stretch.
Stretchy bowl. All right. Is that all we had?
That's all we got. That's all I got. Very short spoiler section.
Short and sweet.
I'm not going to dilly-dally. It was nice to edit that short Sansa, and the long Tyrion was kind of a pain in the ass. So I'm going to go with a couple short ones.
Wait, let me just throw something way off the rocker. I'm just kidding. I have nothing.
We'll see you guys in the next episode, Tyrion 5, and on the Discord. See you guys.
See you.
Also, if you're here, then you know spoilers. So on the Discord, send one of us a message, and we'll put you in the spoiler tag.
Sounds good,
spoiler channels.
Night is dark and full of terrors and frogs.
Sam's lucky arrow.